it might be that there's just scandals and so many problems happening in the country. It might be one of those ones where all the swing states go. This is going to be a upset. Biden versus Trump. Who will win the presidency? This is the 5th of 5 videos that we've did analyzing the Democratic candidates right now. And our first video we did was on Kamala Harris. Second video, Bernie Sanders. Third video was Elizabeth Warren. And the fourth video, we looked at Joe Biden. I'll reference these videos down below in the description if you guys want to watch them. But this is my 5th and concluding video of the AstroPolitics series that we are engaged in doing. So, the reason why I chose Biden is not because he's ahead in the polls, but because I had a chance to review each one of the candidates' charts. And Joe Biden's chart seemed to me that he's in the correct Mahadasha, correct Bhukti, and also he just has an overall strong chart for this election, okay? So what we really want to look at is, can Biden defeat Donald Trump in a face-off? So I'm looking at Joe Biden's chart right now, and I told you guys that in November of 2020, and this is what we're really looking at, what's going to be happening when the election takes place. We found out that he's in Jupiter, Mahadasha, and Rahu Bhukti. Now Rahu is what's really important, because Rahu is what's giving him this ambition and this drive to run for president. And Rahu is in the 10th house of Leo in Joe Biden's chart, and it's in the nakshatra of Magha, which means the throne. So Joe Biden, he's going for it. He's going for it. And what's interesting, he enters Jupiter Rahu in April 27th of 2020. So he's going to be freshly in this Bhukti for several months when the November election takes place. So he's having a lot of this Jupiter Rahu energy pushing him, giving him this momentum, okay? And I also discussed in the previous video that his Jupiter is in the 9th house. It's exalted in Cancer. So he just has this tremendous amount of grace with him as well. So when I saw the combination of factors, I knew that Joe Biden would be the one that will most likely win this Democratic nomination. But the question everybody has, and if you watch the Democratic debates, is who can win versus Donald Trump? And that's what I was thinking when I looked at his chart. Well, I see that he can win this contest, but can he win versus Donald Trump? What we're going to do, we know that Biden is in Jupiter Rahu. I also told you guys in the last video that Abraham Lincoln was in the same Mahadasha and Bhukti when he won the presidency in 1860, right before the Civil War. So we have also a past example that we can look at where, okay, we know a president has won the election in this type of Mahadasha and Bhukti. So we have the chart that we can look at. Joe Biden has the same chart, not exact chart, but he's in the same Mahadasha and Bhukti. Now let's look at Donald Trump, because that's who we want to really see. We know Joe Biden, and you guys can watch the last video if you want a little more details on that. So we're going to open up Kala here to Donald Trump, President of the United States, 45. So a little bit about Donald Trump. He's a Leo ascendant. He has Mars in the 1st house. So we already know that he is very ambitious, and Mars likes to fight. So what do we see Donald Trump doing all the time? He's tweeting. He's saying things that we kind of consider offensive. Like a few weeks ago, there was this big scandal over him making these comments over the squad. AOC was one of them. And I forgot the other congresswomen that were in there, but there's 4 of them. And he told them, if you don't like this country, leave and go back to your home countries. Which was ironic since most of them were born here in the United States. But this is why he says such bombastic things that we are like, why are you saying this, man? Like, you're supposed to be president of the United States. He has Mars in the 1st house. He's very aggressive. Now, what I really want to look at with Donald Trump, also, guys, another thing, Donald Trump has Rahu and the Sun in the 10th house. 10th house is public visibility, public figures. He has a very strong political chart. He's a Leo, which right off the bat, Leos love to be in the limelight. He's got Mars in the first house. Almost all presidents that I've noticed when I've analyzed their charts, they always have planets in the first house. That is a common theme I see continually. He's got Rahu Sun in the 10th house of Taurus. So he's got a very, very strong chart. So let's look back at 2016 to see what kind of dasha Donald Trump was in, because that's what we really need to look at. So we're going to go back to November of 2016. So he was in Rahu Mars. It's interesting that a lot of these candidates, when you look back at their charts, a lot of them, they usually have Rahu involved, because Rahu is that ambition. It's the reason why we choose to incarnate here on this planet, is this drive to accomplish something that our soul wants to experience while putting on this meat suit that we have. Trump was in Rahu Mars in November of 2016. Rahu's in the 10th house. Very powerful placement. He wants to get to the top of the pyramid. How much more top of the pyramid are you when you reach President of the United States? That's like the ultimate pyramid topper right there. Okay, and Rahu's with Sun. Sun means power. He was in Rahu Mahadasha, Mars Bhukti, and Mars is in his first house. And let me remind you guys, in a Leo, Mars is the 4th house and 9th house lord. It's actually what is called the Yoga Karaka for Leo ascendants. So he had this tremendous amount of Rahu energy and Mars energy propelling him to the top. I didn't have a chance to look at Hillary Clinton's chart, so I don't know what kind of dasha cycle she was in, but obviously she must have been in a somewhat losing cycle. I don't see any Dashtanas involved. Now, Dashtanas are 6th Lord, 8th Lord, 12th Lord, really involved with Donald Trump. And those are the houses that can either kill careers or just cause a general amount of problems for you. And that's what I talked about when I talked about Bernie Sanders' chart, is I talked about, wow, the 8th Lord is very strong and it's involved. That's why I kind of see that his campaign will fall apart, because he had such a strong 8th Lord period that he was in. 8th house is all about things falling apart, things breaking. It could represent revolutions, but usually in our lives, it represents the 8th Lord usually takes things away from us so that we can become more enlightened. Okay. Even though we don't like it, we don't like what it's taking away, it's helping aid our consciousness grow. Okay, now this is interesting thing. So Donald Trump was in Rahu Mars, and then right after he gets elected, November 14th, 2016, he enters Jupiter Mahadasha. He just changes the whole book that he's in. He's in Jupiter Mahadasha, just like a week after he gets elected. So when he got sworn in, he was a few months in the Jupiter Mahadasha. Jupiter is the lord of his 5th house and his 8th house. So there's a little bit of grace there because Jupiter's the 5th lord, but also the 8th lord, meaning that there's also problems that Jupiter's bringing into his life. And what have we seen the last couple years is there's lots of problems that Trump is having. He was trying to build a wall, and he's been very unsuccessful at building the wall. He has been having these various scandals and investigations, like the Mueller investigation, trying to take him down. But we've been seeing that he has been able to weather a lot of these storms, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so what I want to look at with Donald Trump is, we know Biden is on a really winning trajectory in November of 2020. So let's look at where Trump is. Now, Trump is going to be in Jupiter Mahadasha, Saturn Bhukti in November of 2020. So he's switching his sub period. Okay, he's not going to be in Jupiter anymore. And the Mars, the Rahu Mars energy, that's gone. That's been gone for the last 4 years, or 3 or 4 years now. So he doesn't have that Mars and that Rahu momentum behind him anymore. He's kind of coasting on past success right now. So what we want to ask is, can Jupiter Saturn really push him to the top? We know Jupiter is lord of the 8th house, which is not very good. So we're seeing that he's having a lot of problems. Guys, I would not be surprised if in October we get the traditional October surprise where some sort of crazy information comes out. Either some sort of scandal involving Trump or some sort of disaster that happens over the next year, because I'm seeing there's problems. So Saturn already is in the 12th house. We see that Saturn in his chart, he's losing his identity. There's a sense of identity loss. So Trump is I would say, kind of wasting away a little bit throughout this whole next year. His identity, he's facing identity, 12th house lost there. Saturn is his 6th house and his 7th house lord. 6th lord is enemies. So we have Jupiter, the 8th lord. We have Saturn, the 6th lord. We have 2 Dashtanas fully active right in November of 2020. But with Joe Biden, we do not have the Dashtanas activated. Joe Biden, he's got his full Rahu period going. He's on this upward trajectory, and we're seeing that Donald Trump's facing some issues. Okay, so you know what I'm seeing in Donald Trump's chart is he's having a lot of problems, and the attacks against him are gonna mega intensify closer to the election. So this might not be that Donald Trump or that Joe Biden ends up debating Trump better or outsmarting Trump. It might be that there's just scandals and so many problems happening in the country that the voters just say, you know what, we got to go with the other side. The pendulum's got to swing back to the Democrats. That's what I'm seeing right here. It might not even be that Biden has to do much. I'm sure he's got a lot of operatives, Democratic operatives, that are going to be working overtime trying to take out Trump. Shoot, guys, I'm not seeing Donald Trump be able to weather this storm. I mean, he had so much grace behind him when he got elected in 2016, and now I'm not seeing that all in November of 2020. He's going to be fighting. In fact, the more and more I'm thinking about it as I'm talking to you guys, Biden might win, and he might win in a landslide. It might be one of those ones where all the swing states go for Biden. This is going to be an upset. Donald Trump might be a one-term president. The last one-term president we had was George H.W. Bush Sr. back in the 90s. This would be a historic election if Trump ends up getting unseated here, because usually the incumbent wins. So out of all the charts I saw, I believe Joe Biden, he's going to take the Democratic nomination. He's also going to win president in 2020. Now, Bernie Sanders has a strong chart. He has a mega strong chart. But the problem is, as I saw, the 8th Lord was very strong in the period that he's in leading up to the November 2020 election. So, guys, my prediction, Joe Biden is going to win the Democratic nomination, and he's going to be the next president of the United States. And this might happen because there's going to be a lot of problems going on in the country. There's going to be explosive revelations coming out in the next year. Today, as I make this video, there was just another mass shooting in El Paso, Texas. If we keep seeing these things happen over and over and over throughout the whole next year till November 2020, people are going to get sick of this stuff, and they're going to be demanding change, and they're probably going to be making some political demands like we need more gun control and different things like that. I know the conservatives are going to be pissed off, but it's getting out of control, guys. This stuff's getting out of control. Last week was the Garlic Festival. This week's El Paso. You know, at the recent report is 20 people died just because of some random mentally ill person or terrorist. We don't know the story yet, but these things are just becoming all too common. Okay. Also, there's predictions that there could be an economic recession in 2020. It's not guaranteed, but I'm seeing a lot of problems. Also, with Donald Trump's chart, I'm going to add this one more thing to you guys. He has Saturn as the 6th Lord and the 7th Lord. Donald Trump might also be facing some legal problems in litigation. So I don't know if something's going to happen with impeachment or there's going to be various legal battles he's fighting through whatever he's doing. So that's my prediction, guys. Joe Biden, he takes it, he wins it, and he's the dark horse candidate. Even though he's not really a dark horse, but he's going to be maybe because people think Trump's going to win a second term. It might be a big surprise that people find the Democrats actually won versus the incumbent. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. I will be coming out with a lot more chart analysis videos with all types of famous people and politicians around the world. Thank you guys so much for watching.